So Welcome to Derry is winding up to be show of the year at the moment with the way it's going. We just recently had episode 4 come out, and that was, for me, the best episode we've had so far, I think, in the show. I think it was a perfect and a phenomenal episode, gave us a lot of detail. Like I said in the previous video about Pennywise and his backstory, also the Native Americans, with also showing us in more detail into Dick Halloran's power, like his ability, I guess, to, go into people's minds like we saw in The Shining and stuff, like giving us more detail on him. We just got a lot in this episode. It was really nice to see. And they really have kept us on the edge of our seat waiting for us to see, Pennywise's clown form, the Pennywise we all know and love from the big screen that we haven't seen since 2019. Obviously, this show has been more focused on the other forms Pennywise takes, and I guess the deeper history on Derry itself and the darkness of the town itself, and what Pennywise has actually done to it, without being in the clown form, in the Pennywise form. It's shown us how deep the character actually is of Pennywise and the Deadlights, and that's been really interesting to see. But we recently got the mid-season trailer as well, and it really delve into what we can expect in the weeks to come, what we're going to be expecting, and what we're going to see basically. And yeah, it looks incredible. I cannot wait for the next coming weeks to get these episodes. And yeah, I just cannot wait for this show. When it's all said and done, it's going to be probably show of the year in my opinion. It's been absolutely incredible. But like I said, episode 5 is winding up to be an amazing episode. Looking like a lot of detail is going to be in that episode, and a lot to it to unpack in that episode. At the end of episode 4 showed us that left us on a cliffhanger with the well house, and that basically the military are going to go there. We saw that in the trailer a few weeks ago, I think, of the soldiers go into that well house, and obviously they're going to meet Pennywise in there. And yeah, I think this is the episode finally, guys, where we actually see Pennywise. I think this is where we're finally going to see the clown form Pennywise, and I cannot wait for it. It's going to be absolutely incredible. It's going to be jam-packed full of stuff to unpack basically, and I can't wait to do a video next week on that. But yeah, the well house is going to be very intriguing to see, because we saw it, like I just said, we saw it in the weeks to come trailer a few weeks ago. We haven't seen that house since It Chapter 2, but mainly it was featured in It Chapter 1 specifically. We saw a lot more of it in It Chapter 1. Of course, they go back to it in It Chapter 2, but it plays a bigger role, I guess you can say, in the first It. And yeah, I think this episode 5, but not just episode 5, in the future episodes are really going to be massive leading up to the finale. It's going to be important to watch every single episode to understand where we're going with the story. We're going to see Marge, what happened between Lily and Marge. I think Lily's probably going to go back to Juniper Hill. It's looking like, because of what happened in in episode 4 with when Marge, the bit with the eyes, the horrible scene, where it was, the most gruesome scene this week, that we're going to see all week. But yeah, it's now looking like to those kids and to everyone that it was actually Lily that did it, when it obviously wasn't, but now it does look like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what we see with that, because in the episode we see Marge joining, I guess, the old losers club, you could call them. I don't know what you could call this group of kids, but yeah, Marge is joining them because of what happened. And yeah, Pennywise was featured heavily in this mid-season trailer. So all roads basically lead to Pennywise showing up in the next episode, which I cannot wait for. But leaving us on a cliffhanger in episode 4 was, really, really just leaving us to wait each week, which I usually don't like with most shows. I usually prefer to just binge watch, but I think it's nice to wait week after week if it's something that's incredible, because it gives you something to look forward to. And I think this is a show that warrants that. It's a phenomenal show. The Walking Dead was another one that did that, but a lot of shows do it now, to build suspense, I guess. But if it's an amazing show, then of course it just builds up that hype for the next week. So I can understand why doing it, and I prefer them doing it for this show because I'm really loving this show. It's an amazing series so far, and I cannot wait to see where they go with it with the next episode next week in episode 5, with Pennywise's return finally coming. We haven't seen him on, I guess, not the big screen, but on our screens since It Chapter 2 in 2019, so it's going to be really, really exciting to see his return next week. Pennywise going on a generational run next week until the finale, so, we're going to be getting a lot, and that scary and that horror side of Pennywise has truly come back, so I genuinely cannot wait to see where we go next week with the character of Pennywise, but also all the other characters as well, Leroy, the Hanlons, the military as well. The military are trying to weaponize them. That's why I guess they're going to the warehouse to try and, they think, General Shaw thinks he can capture this and use it as a weapon for their military, which is obviously not going to work. And they're being told that they can't do that. You can't weaponize this thing. But obviously he's not going to listen. He's going to keep on going all out for it, which is going to be very intriguing to see what that does for the story. That's going to be really interesting to see in the next episode. So I cannot wait to see where we, Pennywise's return next week, and I think it's going to genuinely blow our minds. Episode 5, this episode did blow our minds, so I think this one's just going to be absolutely wild. So tell me what you guys think. Are you guys looking forward to next week's episode? Tell me what you guys thought of episode 4 as well. I want to hear your opinions on this show overall as well. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.